Hello, this is Mark again from Thrifty Gaming, and I'm doing another army showcase. This one's for my Mech army. This is most of it. This isn't showing all of my units of Rangers. I have about 15 Rangers and 10 Vanguard that need to be painted still, but that unfortunately would probably take a few more months before I actually get around to doing that. So I just thought I would do a quick video for the rest of my guys. So I have my unit of Electro Priests, I got some Sicarian Ruststalkers, I have my Castellan Robots, my Onager, I guess my Dragoon / Ballistari, I believe, and then the Tech Priest Dominus, and then my Cataphrons. Now, most of them are magnetized or customized in some way. So my Electro Priests have been modified. Let's see if I can focus it. If you know me, you know I do not like exposed heads in Warhammer. I don't understand the appeal of having your head exposed to all the terrible, vile atmospheres that are out there, so I like to have all my guys covered. So I just take some Vanguard heads, and then I use the remaining, I don't know, little neck cowl thing from the Electro Priest, and I just glued it on the side. But I pretty much did the basic paint scheme that they have in the book. Other than the skin tone, though, I changed it to more of like a black skin suit. Again, kind of the idea that he's fully contained and sealed in his armor and stuff. But yeah, these guys were probably the biggest headache to paint, honestly, just because those little Elect-2s or power cells and all that needed lots of little fine details on them. But they turned out pretty well. I like how they turned out. And then got the Sicarians right here. Again, I pretty much just followed what the Games Workshop standard colors are. However, I did, instead of doing their silvers, I did most of my base in the kind of a copper color. So this is actually their Balthazar Gold, which I then washed in Agrax Earthshade. And I think it kind of gives it a little bit more of a steampunk vibe to it, which I was kind of going for. Then my Castellans. Now these guys are magnetized, so I can switch out their shoulder weapons, and then their wrists are also magnetized. And I just used a 5mm by 1mm neodymium magnet, and it was honestly pretty simple to do that with them. But this was actually my first foray into kind of an edge highlighting. I did a very subtle, you can't really tell too much in the video, I don't think. Most things recommend doing like 2 different highlights, and I just did more of the corn red base with the Mephiston red instead of this is more of a dull red instead of an Evil Sun Scarlet red, but I like the more subtle change, so I kind of went for that look. We've got my, let's see, you know what, I am blanking on what this guy is called, basically the Tech Priest guy that goes along with the Castellans. Again, more of a copper base to it. And we'll go on to my Onager. Now, I haven't base coated any of my models yet because I'm still trying to finish all my armies before I really commit to a uniform base, but this guy is magnetized, so I can switch him out. And I did magnetize this little spot right there, so I can add the Icarus array. But again, more with the highlighting and the corn red and the Balthazar Gold. That's pretty much the majority of the paint jobs. And then we've got, again, I magnetize quite a bit. Kind of a love-hate relationship with magnets, honestly. It's like one of those things where I like to do it so I can then use a model for more things, but it's also a nightmare to have so many more little bits to paint. But I did this so I can also make him as the Dragoon and change out the arm with the joust thing. So that just goes on there. And his head is also magnetized. Then we have my Tech Priest. This was the first model I painted of this army, so we kind of set the standard for my color scheme. He's not magnetized. Actually, no, I lied. He is. I forgot, my wife accidentally broke off the top of his axe, and so I thought, you know what? I'll magnetize that so that way I can store them better. We can't even see it. There we go. Then I've got my Cataphrons. Now I did change their heads out also. These are the infiltrator heads from the Sicarian kit. Again, I don't like exposed heads, and I like that this gives it a little bit more of a robotic, almost a Lost in Space vibe to it. So I like that going on with them. And then we've got just a quick magnetization on my head so I can change it out to be a Vanguard or a Ranger. And then same here. And I only magnetized the HQs, or I guess the sergeants, for my Rangers. I was going to consider doing all the units, but like I said, it's a headache, so I just did a couple in each unit to give them the option to change out heavy weapons or to make them be different units entirely, either Vanguard or Ranger. So yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed, and hopefully I've given you guys some inspiration on your own paint schemes as well. And if you have any more questions, just feel free to comment. Thanks.